Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jungle, a Cincinnati Bengals podcast brought to you by the Riverfront and everyone at Blue Wire. My name is Caroline Palmer, and joined again for the first time in 3 weeks with Owen Timmerding. So, Owen, hello, welcome back.
Caroline, it's good to hear from you. I'm still on vacation. I'm in Bald Head Island in North Carolina.
It's beautiful. Oh my
Yeah, I
gosh.
was going to ask if you've been here before, or
Hmm.
if it's pretty great because that's kind of from your state, your neck of the woods. It's been awesome. I had a family vacation last week, so I'm on like two vacations in a week. A little vacationed out, but I'm enjoying it. But I'm happy I've been able to keep track, see what you and Seth have been up to, and also keeping track with, I'd say, a pretty positive week and a half or so from what the Bengals have been doing. Pretty much since I left the show, stuff has been going good.
Absolutely. I mean, we had talked about it, us two and Seth, about potentially doing an emergency pod because I
Yeah.
felt like everything kind of just like exploded within like a 24-hour
Yeah.
period with Bengals news. But I feel like we kind of have a good time where we kind of have it all with us right now and we can
Yeah.
kind of like dissect and break it down. And I feel like the big one, and I feel like it's the one that at least me, I've been the most vocal about, and I feel like it's the most glaringly obvious one is Shemar Stewart has finally signed his rookie contract.
Pretty
So,
happy.
yes.
I'm pretty happy. I'm finally happy it's done. I was getting really tired of listening to the same thing over and over again on ESPN and reading the same thing online. And it just seemed super frivolous as we got down towards the end of how all of this deal turned out. And you know what? I really can't complain at the end of the day. They figured it out. Both sides agreed to accepting the clause, the crime clause or whatever the behavior thing, and then he got $500,000 more in upfront money. So I guess if both sides are happy, both sides are happy. Now here's the other thing too. I'm happy it's done, but he's behind. Like
Mhm.
he looks a little slower. You can tell he's a rookie, and it would have been nice for him to go through these rookie growing pains in um, May instead of July with preseason starting in the next week and a half or so. So, you know what? I'm not going to complain because at the end of the day, I think he's an essential part to what this Bengals defense is going to be. I He seems to be in good spirits too. I just watched an interview with him. He sounds pretty happy to be here. I don't For how bad it was, he seems pretty juiced. So, I don't know. I think a part of it is that it was such a player driven thing that and it seemed like everyone was on his side. It wasn't like he was tearing up the locker room because of it.
Mhm.
But those are just my thoughts. I'm happy he's back. He'll get better.
Oh, absolutely. I saw the interview that you're referencing that he did, which I feel like again ties back to the point that I said when this like initially started was that this was definitely the holdout was more so his agent
Yeah.
than like him himself. And Seth and I talked about it last week where his agent has like a track record of kind of putting his players into this type of situation. So it could have been more out of necessarily Shamar Stewart's himself, his control, but
Yeah.
it was instead his camp that kept him out of it. But again, really excited to see him back. He obviously has a boatload of potential. I mean, it's why he was selected at 17th overall. Obviously, of course, you've got the growing pains. We'll probably continue to see that throughout the first couple weeks of preseason because he is 2 months behind everyone else. But I think overall, I think everyone's just ready for this chapter to close. I think everyone was done talking about it. I know I was. I think we're all ready just to move on and just kind of see what kind of guy he could be and kind of what he can be made into by his mentor, who has
Hmm.
come out and been his mentor, which we'll talk about next, which is Trey Hendrickson, because he is back at training camp. So, in some capacity. So,
Yeah.
it's good to see his face back as well.
I agree. I think at the end of the day, Hendrickson being at camp is less of a distraction than when Jamar Chase was at camp last year because we knew the Jamar Chase deal was inevitably coming, but Jamar wasn't very vocal about being like, hey, I want a new deal. He was just kind of like, hey, I'm kind of good for right now, but like maybe let's start negotiating. You know what I mean? Like it kind of what it felt like with Trey. I mean, he's there, and I've already heard from Shemar Stewart saying that they're doing one-on-one work together.
Mhm.
So, I mean, and I have this written down. Trey said things are exactly the same, and we have the same. We have the like apparently the concrete factors of this deal done. We're just like at a difference of between $6 and $10 million. Is that what I saw? Like
I
of
believe
guarantee.
so.
So
Hmm.
like the structure is there. We're really close on this, I feel like. And Hendrickson even said that he is like still intends to play for the Bengals and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like there doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of ill will. I'm sure it's frustration. I do think Hendrickson leaving was a little frustrating that he left and went to Florida
Yes.
on the first day of camp. That seemed kind of a little childish. I'm not going to talk about none of his money, like I've said about that before, but like if you really, I think him coming back to training camp was a sign of good faith, shows the kind of person he is. I again, wishful thinking. I mean, you'd like to think this is getting done soon. It seems like the writing's on the wall, but we're not. We're missing like that big update. You know what I mean? Where it's like sides are
Hmm.
closing. We're now down to like a couple little things here and there. Where I just feel like we're really close. I think it happens before week one. Still, I know
Hmm.
Trey Hendrickson's in shape because you can trust on a veteran doing that. Like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, you'd almost much rather have your veteran kind of hang around. I don't know. I kind of feel
Yeah.
the same way I have felt about Trey the whole time. I think
Yeah.
it's it's silly. I think it's. I've never thought that he was. Bengals and Trey Henderson both have no reason to want to split, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because you can compare this drastically to the Micah Parsons situation,
Which
who's
is a
kind
mess.
of in, which is a mess. Exactly. And I mean, it even came out this morning that he has now directly stated he no longer wants to play for the Dallas Cowboys and has
Yeah,
every intention of requesting a trade. I mean,
he
Miles
already did.
Garrett said the same thing and signed with the Browns. So I'm just waiting to see now. But this is also Jerry Jones we're talking about. So and I feel like the Cowboys and the Bengals, their organizations, at least in the last 5 years, kind of have the same track record of taking a very long time to pay their players and sometimes pay a little bit more. So when you look at the actions of Parsons and Hendrickson, that is where, for me, if I'm a Bengals fan, I'm excited because
Yeah,
Hendrickson wants to be there. Even though he's not practicing, he is at practice. He is working with Shemar Stewart. He is working with the D line, even though he himself cannot. It's almost like when you look at like an injured player, like being involved like that's
yeah.
kind of what it
I,
looks
I
like right
agree.
now. Like he still is fully invested. He's just not suiting up yet. Like it almost reminds me of like when I was injured last year for soccer and like you still are directly involved. I'm just not putting cleats on. And I feel like that's kind of what he's doing right now. Is he's still
Mhm.
very involved, very active. Like from day one, we've talked about he wants to be part of the organization. Like there's been no doubt about that he wants to leave the Bengals. There's been nothing from his side that has said that. So again, I think it's really promising. I agree with you. I still think this is all going to get done before week one because I think he wants to play. I think the Bengals and his teammates want him to play. So I think that this is all going to get figured out a lot sooner than people think it will, based on how long this is dragged out.
I agree. I think we're both kind of tired of like we've said before. Like now we got one of these done, and so now we get to do the microscope of Shamar Stewart of analyzing every
Yeah.
single one of his mistakes at training camp and what he's going to do in the
Mhm.
preseason. Because I expect him to probably play a lot in the preseason if he's behind. Because there's a difference between being in shape and being in football shape, as we've talked about
Yes.
as before. And obviously, he is a football player. He's huge. He looks like he's a tenured NFL vet just by the way his body's shaped. But the NFL's faster, and you've already seen him struggle isn't the right word, and he's very open about that. So I
Mhm.
mean, I actually kind of think the more we got into the weeds of Shamar Stewart, it was less about him. He seems like he's got good character and his
Yeah.
head's in the right spot. So like at the end of the day, was it kind of annoying? Was he and I read something and I wish I could give a credit, but this writer basically said the same thing that I'm saying right now. Is that don't let this be a mark on the type of person that Shamar Stewart is and the type of NFL player he's going to be because he got an unfair label, an unfair stigma now attached to him based on how this was handled by his agent, who I think he should fire,
Hmm.
because he got a lot of bad advice, and the Bengals, who are stingy in general, and that's a really bad mix. A dumb
Yeah.
agent and a frustrating organization don't go well together. So
Yeah.
when we saw it fold out and it worked out fine, Shemar Stewart was never not going to play for the Bengals. And that's pretty much what some other players said too in their post game, in their parties, sorry, post practice interviews. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I it's relief. I think the players are happy that now we can kind of just put our heads down a little bit. And again, even like I said, Trey just being there takes a lot of weight off
Hmm.
everyone's chest. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, happy Shamar's there. I mean, I was the number one advocate for he needs to be there because training camp in particular is a phenomenal opportunity for rookies, veterans, walk-ons, practice guys to assert themselves as
Mhm.
members of the organization. And one person that I have seen in multiple articles, I actually forgot to send it to you because I saw another one earlier that is apparently kind of standing out in a very positive way in the first couple of days of training camp is Bengals' second round draft pick, Demetrius Knight, is apparently leaving a very good impact on Zach Taylor, on the defensive coordinator. The players have talked really well about him, and he's getting a lot of first team reps in the first couple of days of training camp. As a second round pick, we talked about it in our draft recap way back in April that he
Yeah.
had potential to be a starter, and it's obviously showing off.
I'm going to go ahead and make the claim right now that I think he is our starting linebacker on week 1, or at least split snaps with whoever. This is just, I got to clean up on my football knowledge here, but whoever would play said Logan Wilson, I believe it's one of those guys they signed, either the kid from Green Bay or the kid from Philly.
Hmm.
I Here's the thing: a lot of people forget that Demetrius Knight's 25. He is a old rookie. He
Yes.
played. He got mixed up in the COVID year stuff. Like, he got extra years of college. He started off at UNC Charlotte, finished in the SEC. Now he will start for the Bengals on week 1 at that second linebacker position. I love it. I think the players love him. I have not heard anything bad about him. You can tell he's smart. You can tell he's physical. Logan Wilson's also a great guy to learn from
Hmm.
because he's a tenured vet and he's a good. I've heard a lot of great things and just about the defense in general, but we need to give Demetrius his flowers because I mean he's got potential to be a very, very good piece to this Bengals defense, and really this draft class might shape up because I mean there's a world where Dylan Fairchild starts too
Hmm.
the guard on week 1, or at least
Yes.
gets some first team reps
Hmm.
uh, in a cycle. Because I mean, I would love to look at this draft class 3 years from now that as like, and we said it that they needed to hit this one out of the park, and like that kind of got marred by Demetrius Knight kind of waiting to sign, and now Shemar. But like now it's kind of, let's get this going. Like, let's see who's really good because everything I'm seeing so far is that they have the pieces.
Yeah.
And
So,
we loved this draft. We both said
yeah,
it. As other people were saying that they didn't address special certain things. Me and you were both very upfront with the fact that we really thought the Bengals made strategic spots and picks, especially in those first 3 rounds.
absolutely. I mean, it's great to see Shamar back. It is great to see Demetrius Knight doing some amazing things because the defense in general is everyone's question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's. It's the media's question mark. It is the league's question mark. It is the Bengals question mark. And it's even Zach Taylor's question mark. So
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, there's loads and loads of interviews that we could dissect, breakdown of what they talk about with this defense. I think everyone's excited. Obviously, we can't judge anything. They can't judge anything until they play somebody else.
Yeah,
And realistically,
absolutely.
you can't even judge that until they play somebody week 1. Granted,
Mm-hmm.
the Bengals have a great preseason schedule in terms of like quantity of their opponents based on the last time we saw their opponents play.
Yeah,
But you're really not going to know until week 1. But I do think that it's still a question mark, but I think we're heading in the right direction.
I I've heard really great things I mean, Joe Burrow said that he's been really impressed with the defense, and that him and Jamar Chase have had a hard time like linking up. Like Burrow's had to make some really really great throws to make some of these plays happen, and he makes them look easy. But the fact if you're the Bengals defense, you have an advantage that not a lot of teams do when you're practicing, is that you're probably going against the best NFL offense currently, top to bottom. That in and of itself is an advantage that you have, and there's no excuse for you not to be better and get better this year than last year, especially with A, how young they are, B, they're young, but they played together for a couple of years now. C, I think that getting Lou out of the building was a great thing just from a pure culture shift. It wasn't working anymore, and it wasn't working with the style of play these younger guys needed / wanted to do. And Golden is going to kind of let them go and show their true athleticism because they are freaky athletes. And I just everything I hear is not about Jamar Chase. It's not about T. Higgins, because that's all I've heard about for the last couple of years. It's about how
Yeah.
good Jordan Battle's been, how good
Mhm.
DJ Turner struggled, but he had a great practice a couple of days ago. Josh Newton, like little guys like that are going to have to take massive steps that seem to be having great camps.
Absolutely. Last little thing that I just saw, like I was looking for a couple things through some articles I had pulled up on Demetrius Knight before we jumped to the other side of the ball, is I saw an article that apparently Demetrius Knight asked Joe Burrow after I'm assuming first team square off about this particular concept that they were practicing or that their offense was practicing and how to read it. They had a conversation. They apparently did the same thing 1 hour later. Demetrius Knight picked Joe Burrow off because he basically asked him how to do it.
Yeah.
So that was something that just made me laugh as I had just come across it, but thought that was funny. I have a feeling we're going to be Demetrius Knight fans over here,
I
but
agree. And
yeah, but
the learning curve should not be that big. You know what I
no.
mean? It should not be that big. And honestly, it shouldn't be that big for Shemar. He's a
Mhm.
little younger, but if you play in the SEC, you have an automatic advantage of
Yes.
of the jump from college to the NFL, and especially for Demetrius Knight, who is a man, a fully developed man.
Yeah.
If you're a rookie, you should be in a solid spot going into your first few games, especially in the preseason. I wouldn't be shocked if he has a great preseason either, just because of how much more developed he probably already is than the average NFL second round rookie linebacker.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, defense is the main point, but we cannot forget about this offense, which I swear every time I look at it, there's just more people that keep getting added to this offense. The Bengals signed Noah Fant. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that? Because that genuinely surprised me.
I hope you're there. Are you there?
Yes,
I lost
yes,
connection for a second. Sorry.
that is okay.
I I like Noah Fant. I was very high when he got drafted. I read something online that if you are labeled as a former first round pick and you are signing a 1 year deal, that means you're probably not very good. I guess that's got a little legs to it because he's on his third team now. I think it's good because it allows Mike Gesicki to pretty much just be your receiver. And
Yes.
instead of having him try to pass block and run block, let Noah Fant do that. He's bigger and he can still catch. You need a bigger body guy. I think this might be the end of the Tanner Hudson era, even though he's not been cut yet. I think that writing's on the wall.
Mhm.
I think it improves your offense yet enough to move the needle a little bit more. And I think it
Yeah.
moves the needle just on the fact that we saw how great Gesicki was um, in just as a route runner last year.
Mhm.
That it's an advantage to the. Sorry, I'm trying to plug my computer in here. It's an
All
advantage
good.
to the Eagles to let him just kind of be an offensive weapon, and instead of making him block as often as they would need him to. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think Gesicki in general, he almost is like I'm trying to off the top of my head, I can't think of them, but there's a bunch of tight ends in the league that are not like your Travis Kelsey, George Kittle pass blockers. Like they're just
Mm-hmm.
not. It's kind of the new era of tight ends where like Brock Bowers, that was it. Brock
Yeah.
Bowers is much better when you almost let him operate as a receiver. Like, he's not the best pass blocker that you've ever seen. Lad McConkey's kind of in. Well, Lad McConkey
He's a
basically played as a
receiver.
receiver
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
But basically, I agree. I think Noah Fant's a great pass blocker. He was a great pass blocker for Denver, great pass blocker for Seattle. I do think it's nice because now you have variation when it comes to the tight end position, which I feel like they didn't really have.
Mm-hmm.
The reason it surprised me the most was because of how many people are in that tight end room already. That is where I got surprised. So it's a little bit bigger than a lot of other organizations have their tight end room. But I mean, he's an experienced guy with playoff under his belt, multiple teams, years and years of experience. That's not going to hurt anyone. Like, it's really not.
It doesn't hurt the Bengals.
And it's another weapon for Joe Burrow. It's not going to hurt us in any way.
I mean, fans said he's happy to go play with Joe Burrow. I think it made sense once I kind of saw that he was visiting. I was like, all right, this is. You get excited when you're hosting a player of someone you know. Like you recognize Noah Fant. Like I thought he was going to be really good coming out of college. That's it. But we are where we are now. I think he's at a point of his career where he's in a very much role based aspect. You know what I mean? Like if all right, it's not worked. Let me see how I can fit in more of a structured area with it. I'm just doing a couple specific things. So I hope it works out. 1-year deal, no harm, no foul. Bring in another weapon for Joe. And I texted you. I said, Operation Score 100 is a go.
Yeah, but that's what it's looking like. Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. It's also a really interesting time of the year because a funny little thing called Madden and a funny little thing called Madden ratings, which are now out. Yeah. And I feel like every year there's something wrong with them. But I feel like this year they were okay in comparison to years past. Especially from a Bengals standpoint, I feel like a lot of them are kind of on point with where they needed to be. I thought some of the Eagles players got a little bit disrespected, but I think for the most part, seeing the Bengals ones, I wasn't really surprised. I mean, I think everything was kind of distributed evenly for Madden standards. I know they're all messed up anyway, but for Madden standards, I think this year was one of their better rankings overall. Obviously, there's going to be a couple of people that fall out of place, but I feel like that always happens.
Yeah. Obviously, Jamar Chase, first ever Bengals 99 player.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Jamar Chase.
He deserves it. Absolutely deserves it.
Burrow probably also deserves a 99, but he's a 97.
Yes. So they weren't going to give 3 quarterbacks 99. It just wasn't going to happen, unfortunately.
The Chase is cool. First Bengal ever. Burrow's the highest rated Bengals quarterback. Actually ties Carson, who was a 97, I guess, in 2008. People forget how good he was. Hendrickson was a 92. That's about on par with what I thought. Highest rated the defense guy. A bunch of 70s, guys in the 70s. Something I don't like was that Orlando Brown, who's supposed to be the best Bengals offensive lineman, is a 9. You take Madden ratings what you will, but at some point, the offensive line, we can have a whole nother podcast conversation about that. I think it's getting kind of hidden with how good the offense is going to be with these other weapons. Higgins at 86. It's about kind of what I thought he'd be too. I also don't really blame that. I just like looking at the ratings every year.
Yeah, I just roast the ratings, yet I don't ever use the game.
Because it's a bad game. And Shemar, highest rated rookie for the Bengals, 77. So, I mean, that's pretty good for a rookie. You obviously think he's going to be pretty solid. I'd like to see that keep going. I love it. I think Chase being 99 is cool. I think
it's really cool.
The video, it's cool having a guy just like when with the Reds, you get when your guy's on the cover or something like the video game, that's a cool thing. If you got something in that realm, or like when Burrow's on the cover of the Fashion Sports Illustrated that came out a ago. Like, that's pretty neat. If your athletes are
Yeah.
up on the cover of Sports Illustrated, of the newspaper, like, that's stuff you should take pride in. So, I mean, if you got a 99 Madden guy,
Absolutely.
that means he's a top 7 overall player in the NFL, at least.
Yeah.
So,
It'll be interesting because that just made me spark my mind because it's like slowly being released into the world. The players top 100 is slowly making its way out, like
yeah,
the
I saw
players
that.
post. So once that list is fully out and we can see, because I don't really like analyzing it until we can see everyone because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, so is player number 64. But I'm like, okay, but who else in his position was ranked above him or what other players? So I feel like that'll be cool to dive into once that whole list comes out, like who falls where, because I'm sure Burrow, Chase, Higgins, Hendrickson are all up there in like at least the top half. So it'll be interesting to see, or I think they should be.
It'd be
But
crazy if they weren't. Like, I kind of remember Burrow getting kind of nixed last year, and then
yeah,
but I don't know. I agree. We're at this point now where, like, we have real football Hall of Fame game yesterday. We got
gosh,
ads are on the coming on. Installs happening. Bengals preseason's coming up. We got real stuff going on. So I'm pretty excited with what these next couple weeks are going to be. So I don't know.
yeah, it'll be really exciting.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's one more thing we could probably talk about this week because the Bengals have got some
Yeah.
long-term fun
Finally.
because their stadium deal is finally completed, finalized.
Yeah.
11 years now at
It
the
is.
stadium.
11 years. I thought. Remember we had
Fun.
that whole episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we claimed it was done and it was coming up to an easy vote, quote unquote. I just read that it came down to parking spaces that threatened the deal from getting completely thrown away.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
It's like I feel like the most minuscule of things that it could have been.
But it happened. Oh well.
Yeah, it's exciting. So don't have to worry about moving, no renovation, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
At least for another decade, you're safe in Cincinnati. So
you'd imagine they'd pick up the other one.
For sure.
And that comes with it. So I love it. I mean, again, like we talked about when we had launched that episode, like it doesn't make sense for the Bengals to leave. It never would.
No.
It's their family business. It wouldn't matter. The Bengals have too good probably isn't the right word. Too much of a relationship with Cincinnati at this point that it wouldn't make sense. But
yeah,
we'll see.
But,
Happy. I mean, it's been a fun, it's been an easy week to be a Bengals fan. You know what
very
I mean?
easy.
Like, I feel like there's only big. Yeah.
It's just funny because I remember texting you and we were doing this and I was like, we pretty much everything is laid out for us to do. We're just gonna talk
it was easy
about it. Like it's just talking to someone else about it. But
finally
honestly,
everything.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's really nice to not really have one of our players being the highlight of the offseason. Micah Parsons kind of just grabbed that and said, "Here we go."
Let's talk about that for a second. I know we grazed on it a little, but like the fact that it's crazy. How do you not pony up the money for Micah Parsons? I guess you can make the same argument for Trey Hendrickson, but I just don't really think they are.
But the Cowboys have more money to spend.
I know.
That's the problem.
It doesn't make any sense. And the same deal with Terry McLaurin. The Commanders kind of have money now. Like they have
the most cap space of anyone in the league.
And why wouldn't you want to extend one of your better offensive weapons? Yeah, he's a little old because you dragged him on for 4-5 years before this. He's played under the old the football
Riverboat Ron Rivera.
Yeah. And he's the Redskins too. So it's all the same. He's a one jersey guy, but 3 different team names.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't understand it. The Micah stuff's weird.
I think the Commanders will get it done.
More. I think it's something more.
Micah's definitely something more. I could see the Commanders getting the McLaurin thing done, especially now. McLaurin hasn't formally requested a trade. Nice. I was going to say it was just changed from that. Micah's just saying stuff. I feel like that's
Well,
kind of his last attempt
I
to
read
get
that he
Dallas
went up
to
to
move.
Stephen Jones. Read that he went up to Stephen Jones today and said that he's done and that you trade
Well,
him
I
a lot.
saw that. I saw that on Twitter that he said,
Yeah.
I have no intention of playing with the Dallas Cowboys, which I feel like is slightly different from what Myles Garrett said when he was like threatening to leave the Browns because he was like, I want to play for a contender. But like again, it's like then you just signed for the Browns anyway. So I think it'll be interesting. I think both guys shouldn't walk. I feel like McLaurin has a better chance of staying because I feel like the timer's now on Washington for sure
Oh,
when it
absolutely.
comes to Terry McLaurin. I think that one is still like 50-50 of whether or not they get it done. Like I still feel like there's a lot of possibility there. Like I feel like they're gonna have to pay him like number one ever numbers to get him to stay, and even that might not be enough at this point because I feel like
I
the
think it's
Dallas Cowboys front office has just completely burned that relationship, which is extremely unfortunate because even though he does play for the Dallas Cowboys, he is one of the best defensive players in the league. He was phenomenal. We watched Penn State games all the time,
yeah.
and he was phenomenal at Penn State. You knew he was going to be phenomenal in the league. The Cowboys have one of the he's top three every year since Aaron Donald left in the league consistently. I mean, I don't think there's a single person who would argue that. And you're just going to let him walk because you refuse to pay him the money. Like,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. Like, you don't want to see that really happen to anyone.
Mhm.
I'm saying that, like, holding my smile back. But, like,
Yeah.
you don't want
Yeah.
that to happen to the
Yeah.
player.
Yeah. I
Like,
agree.
the Cowboys have shot themselves in the foot here, and I'm hoping the Commanders do not follow that path and do the same thing.
Yeah. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I feel like I think Micah is a different level of NFL player. And
For
you don't
sure.
just the disrespect. I think it's more. I mean, Jerry Jones has said choice words about him. That just stinks. Is he the worst owner in sports?
I think so. He has too much control over the organization.
Yeah.
Because what is he? He's like the owner, the CEO, the COO, the
Yeah.
general manager. Like it's Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys. Like
Yeah.
that's what that organization is, and it's why they're the most. I mean, they're America's team. Like in terms of marketing ability, they're the most marketable team in football. Yet they haven't had genuine success.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like
And it's because
most
they're
of
just
the
run poorly.
Yeah, because most of the most marketable teams anywhere are usually successful because they can whatever, but organizationally wise for them, something has to change. And maybe this Micah thing is going to wake them up. Whether he has to walk for it to happen or the fact that he's threatening to walk makes it happen. Like, if this doesn't spark change somewhere, I genuinely don't know what will.
I agree. I don't know. I think it's crazy, but we'll see what happens. I think
Yeah, I mean,
he's gone, but
I think so too. But
I don't know.
it'll be interesting to see. I mean, preseason is rolling in.
Yeah.
So, of course, that'll probably be
Oh,
where we jump to next.
yeah.
So,
Sweet.
yeah. So, a
Happy to be
lot of
back.
fun.
Happy
Yes,
to
it's
be back.
happy to be back. So, we'll be back next week with some more stuff leading into preseason. Ready to get back to some football, though. So, for Owen Timmerding, I'm Caroline Palmer. Who day. Have a good weekend, everyone.